Imagine standing on the hot sands of ancient Egypt. The wind whispers through the desert, the sun hangs like molten gold in the sky, and crawling across the dunes is a creature so small, yet so powerful, that it shaped religion, royalty, magic, and even the idea of the afterlife itself. This is the story of the scarab. To most people today, the scarab looks like just another beetle. But in ancient Egypt, it was the heartbeat of the universe. Scarabs are actually modeled after a real insect, the dung beetle. Not glamorous, right? But to the ancient Egyptians, it was divine. They watched this beetle roll perfectly round balls across the desert. To them, that wasn't just survival. That was symbolism. They believed the beetle was reenacting the movement of the sun across the sky, rolled every morning into existence by the god Khepri, the god of creation, rebirth, and the dawn. Khepri didn't have a human head like most gods. He had the head of a scarab, because to the Egyptians, the scarab was creation itself. Here's something many people don't know. In ancient Egyptian belief, during judgment in the afterlife, your heart was weighed against the feather of Ma'at, the symbol of truth. If your heart carried guilt or sin, it would be devoured. So what did people do? They wore heart scarabs. These weren't small trinkets. They were large, beautifully carved stones placed over the heart of mummies. And they weren't blank. They were engraved with magical spells, many from the Book of the Dead, begging the heart not to betray its owner during judgment. Imagine that, a beetle amulet, convincing your own heart to stay silent. Scarabs weren't just for the dead. Oh no, they were everywhere in daily Egyptian life. People wore them as jewelry. Soldiers carried them into battle. Parents placed them on children for protection. And these weren't just decoration. Almost every scarab was inscribed with names, prayers, or secret messages. But here's something truly surprising. Scarabs were also the ancient Egyptian version of a signature. Pharaohs like Amenhotep III and Thutmose III produced thousands of inscribed commemorative scarabs. They recorded marriages, military victories, royal celebrations, even hunting achievements. Instead of posting on social media, Egyptian royalty printed news on scarabs. And yes, archaeologists still find them. Let's step back to the real insect for a second. Because the Egyptians weren't just spiritually inspired, they were scientifically observant, too. The dung beetle is unbelievably strong. It can push over 200 times its own weight. That's like a human dragging a fully loaded airplane. But here's the wildest part, and a fact many people don't know. Dung beetles navigate using the Milky Way. Modern scientists discovered that scarabs climb on top of their dung ball, do a little dance, and use the stars to orient themselves so they can travel in a straight line. So when the Egyptians associated scarabs with the cosmic order of the universe, they were actually more right than they even knew. Scarabs weren't just symbols, they were spells. Egyptian magicians believed scarabs could transform misfortune, repel evil spirits, cure illness, and even bring the dead back to life symbolically. Some scarabs were carved from rare stones like lapis lazuli, turquoise, or hematite, each color believed to hold different powers. Green scarabs symbolized rebirth and regeneration. Black scarabs meant protection and strength. Blue meant divine life, the heavens, and eternity. Scarabs were so sacred that destroying one was considered deeply dangerous. You weren't just crushing a beetle, you were interfering with cosmic order. But the scarab wasn't all doom, magic, and judgment. It also had a soft side. Archaeologists have discovered scarabs exchanged as romantic gifts. Some have inscriptions like, "I love you," or "Forever United." Others hold private messages from lovers, secret dedications, and little emotional confessions sealed inside stone. Imagine hiding your love letter inside a beetle. Scarabs weren't only religious, they were personal. Now let's talk power. When the great pharaohs marched to war, they didn't just carry weapons. They carried scarabs. Many military scarabs listed victories, territories conquered, and the might of Egypt. Amenhotep III even commissioned commemorative scarabs that announced political marriages and alliances across the ancient world. Think of them as royal press releases, carved into sacred amulets. Some generals refused to go into battle without them, believing the scarab carried divine strategy and strength from the gods themselves. Even after Egypt's kingdoms fell, the scarab refused to disappear. Greek and Roman cultures adopted it. Medieval Europe collected them as mystical relics. Victorian travelers bought them as enchanted souvenirs. Today, scarabs appear in films, jewelry, tattoos, video games, architecture, museums, and even pop culture myths of cursed artifacts.